What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for House of Gucci. Just got back from the theater, man, and yo, I gotta say, first off, I was happy to see that I was at least able to catch one Ridley Scott movie this year, because, in the theater anyway, because as you guys may know, earlier on the year, Last Duel came out, which, as you guys may have also known, bombed in the box office for whatever reason. Ridley Scott blames millennials and their smartphones, which, I mean, to be fair, he's not completely wrong about that one. It was also kind of funny to read. You could say it was a failure on the marketing, which most likely was the reason why it bombed, and of course the pandemic and everything. It was probably a variety of factors why The Last Duel did not do so well, even though it was loved by critics. Chris Stuckman said he loved it, man. He was like, tell everyone to go watch it, which I'm going to watch The Last Duel whenever I can. I couldn't watch it when it was at the theater because my theater wasn't screening it, so maybe once I get back home, my local theater back home will probably have it screening maybe, or I'll maybe just have to wait until the Blu-ray comes out, which apparently... actually, I'm looking at the Google page right now for House of Gucci, and apparently, like one of the articles that show for it is apparently Ridley Scott is interested or tempted to do like a director's cut or a longer cut of either Last Duel or House of Gucci. So, you know, pause. So that could be interesting if it ends up being The Last Duel that ends up getting a director's cut or a longer cut, whatever the case may be. Anyway, guys. Anyway. I fucking love this film, man. This is definitely going to be on my top 10 movies of this year list, most likely. I mean, there's still a couple more that are still going to come out, so it might end up getting knocked off probably off the list, but definitely this was a fantastic film, man. Another masterpiece from Ridley Scott, and I definitely highly recommend you guys check it out if you got to. So, yeah. But without further ado, man, let's just jump right in. So, the movie is, of course, directed by, of course, the legendary Ridley Scott, and stars Lady Gaga, Jared Leto, Adam Driver, Salma Hayek, Al Pacino, and of course, the legendary Jeremy Irons. And the plot of House of Gucci, and I'm probably going to butcher these names because I'm not Italian, so apologies. When Patrizia Reggiani, an outsider from humble beginnings, marries into the Gucci family, her unbridled ambition begins to unravel the family legacy and triggers a reckless spiral of betrayal, deceit, and revenge. So, first off, we gotta talk about is, of course, the cast. I have to talk about the cast right first. First off, can we all just take a moment to appreciate how good of an actress Lady Gaga actually is, man? Like, bro, her performance was probably the most shocking. I loved her. She was amazing. So I'm like, yo, like A Star Is Born was one thing, you know. She was basically kind of playing herself, you know, in that one. But here, she really shows off her acting chops. And yo, she almost came with this movie like as if she was a tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns, being like, acknowledge me. You know, she was arguably probably the best performance of the entire movie. It's a toss-up between her and Adam Driver, man. But, like, bro, she really surprised me how good in this movie she was. Like, yo, Lady Gaga is actually is an amazing actress. Like, legit, man. Like, bro, I was shocked. Because this is, like, what, her second movie she's done? Acting-wise? Other than A Star Is Born, I think? I don't know, maybe she did something else between those two. But, yo, shout-outs to Lady Gaga, man. She was absolutely spectacular in this film, man. Adam Driver might have been the highlight, might have been the best performance in the movie. Once again, I swear to God, man, every time I watch a movie with Adam Driver in it, he always reinforces himself as like he is one of the greatest actors currently working today. Whether it's a sequel trilogy, whether it's fucking Marriage Story, you know, Silence. This man always gives every movie he's in. He usually is either the best or one of the best performances in that film. And seriously, Adam Driver is such an amazing actor in this movie, and he was fantastic in this film. And I kind of really dug his growth from when we see him like at the start of the film, where he's like this lovable dork, you know, to like the head of the table, the head of Gucci in like the later half of the film, man. He was fantastic. Jeremy Irons, once again, as fantastic as always, but yo, the highlight, the man who probably stole the show was Jared Leto. This man plays, like, I believe his name was Paolo Gucci. First off, I didn't even know it was Jared Leto playing this guy. Shout out to the makeup department. I didn't even recognize him in the film. But bro, this man steals the show every time he's on screen. He is the funniest character I have seen in a while for one of these films, man. Like, he was so fucking funny. Seriously, he stole the show every time he was on screen, man. Seriously, shout outs to Jared Leto, man. He absolutely killed in this movie, man, and he was absolutely spectacular. He was so funny that when this man, like his analogies he comes up with, how he tries not to swear. It's the funniest shit ever, man. Seriously, this, and I have to say, this movie is surprisingly funny. Like in the same way The Martian was also surprisingly funny. You're like, whoa, this actually has a lot of jokes. It's like, oh, I would argue this is probably his best, Ridley Scott's best comedy since The Martian. And I would probably say I thought this was probably a bit funnier than The Martian. Although I haven't seen The Martian since it came out in theaters back in like 2015, so my memory is always a little fuzzy when it comes to that film. But bro, Jared Leto was absolutely spectacular in the film, man. And like I said, I didn't even recognize it was even him. So shout out to the makeup department for like completely transforming him. So he was absolutely amazing. Al Pacino was great as well, man. The cast as a whole did a spectacular job of film. Of course, the movie is obviously beautifully directed. I mean, Ridley Scott's been doing this shit longer than I've been alive, Like, I love the camera work. The cinematography was really great in this film, man. Ugh, so good. I've already gushed about Lady Gaga, Adam Driver, and the rest of the cast, man. I already mentioned how funny the film is. And one thing I also got to say that I really was surprised by was the chemistry between Lady Gaga and Adam Driver. Like, they were actually surprisingly really well together. I didn't think they would work off each other as well as they did at the start of the film. And it was kind of interesting just to see how the relationship kind of started out, and they're like, oh, two people just in love. And then, of course, everything starts to spiral out of control as we get to the later and later parts of the film, man. And I already mentioned how amazing Lady Gaga's performance is. Seriously, I would be shocked if she doesn't get nominated for Best Actress this year at the Oscars. She's probably going to be my pick for Best Actress this year. Is going to be Lady Gaga for House of Gucci, man. She was fantastic. Although maybe after I watch The Last Duel, I might be changing my mind saying the chick in there is better. But seriously, Lady Gaga was shockingly good in this film. And seriously, shout out to her, man. But yeah, man. The movie's always surprisingly funny. I already mentioned the camera, cinematography, Ridley Scott. Bruh. So yeah, now as far as like minor flaws, and I mentioned how funny the movie is as well. Minor flaws, I would really one thing I will say, there is a sex scene that I thought that not just me, everyone in the theater was kind of laughing that was like unintentionally funny. But like I said, with how shockingly funny this film is, with the comedy bits it goes for, I wouldn't be surprised if that was actually the point. You were supposed to laugh at this sex scene, because I won't go into spoilers, but if you've seen the movie, y'all know what I mean. I won't go into spoilers, man. So that was great. And so yeah, like I said, it could have been meant to be, you were maybe meant to laugh at it, but I'm not sure. It kind of felt like you weren't supposed, it wasn't supposed to be unintentionally funny. Another thing that's also a bit of a minor complaint I would have is Salma Hayek's character she plays. She kind of suffered from the same thing I had a problem with I'm slipping on her name, the woman Margot Robbie played in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I felt like she was more or less included into the film, more or less just out of the historical context of what the film is about and like the case and everything around it. I feel like she was more added there because for that reason, rather than any of her being an actual character, because she really does next to nothing other than being like a wall that Lady Gaga can rant at particular parts of the movie, and around, of course, what happens at the end of the film as well. Besides that, she literally does nothing. You cut her out, you cut her scenes out, it impacts nothing, literally nothing. So it's like, and like, at least like, and so it's like that same, so it kind of the same problem with what we have with Margot Robbie in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And you guys remember, I didn't even know the historical context when I reviewed Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So I was like, why is she even here? And then I'm like, oh, that's why she played this woman that got murdered. Okay, now it makes sense, but she still doesn't do much. But yeah, those are like my two little minor flaws. Unintentionally funny sex scene, and of course, Salma Hayek's character I felt like was very unnecessary, but like I said, probably was added there more or less just for the historical context of the film. But besides that, man, this movie is fucking fantastic. I loved it. Please watch this movie. Do not let it bomb like The Last Duel. Please go out to your local theater and catch this film, man. Please. Do not let this end up like Last Duel, because after watching this, I want to watch The Last Duel even more than I already wanted to before. When I saw the trailers and Chris Tucker's video and that shit, man. I want to see The Last Duel, so hopefully maybe my theater will still be screening when I get back home, or maybe I'll just have to wait till the Blu-ray and maybe watch the extended cut if it gets it. But yeah, man, of course, my final verdict for House of Gucci is my legendary 10 out of fucking 10, ladies and gentlemen. So anyway, leave your thoughts down in the comments below, guys. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave it all down below, guys. And hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Flag it. Links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time. You